Good day, everybody. Ooh. So, what am I going to talk to today? Am I going to talk to my cat? Am I going to talk to the people of the internet? There is the star of the show. He's the real one. He's a big pussycat. The only reason why he comes to see me is because he wants to go out. But as you folks may or may not know, is that he wants to go outside in front, out back, out front, out back, continuously over the next half hour, which just happens to be when I am doing these live talk shows. And so I decided last week, this past week, that no, they're going to be stuck inside for the duration of this talk show. And they're not happy about that. All summer long, they've been used to doing pretty much what they wanted to do. But as the Game of Thrones used to say, winter is coming. They need to start getting used to being stuck inside. And you might be thinking, well, no, winter is still like 3 months away. Actually, by the end of November, we have lots of snow here where I live. So, when I used to live 9 hours to the south, yes, we would be normally having snow around Christmas. But move up on the globe further north, 9 hours, and yep, you kind of have some snow a month earlier. Which means that November rain pretty much happens in October. So basically, there's one more month of good weather because we are 2 days away from September. Imagine that, how time flies. So I noticed that my viewership has been going down over the past week. Not too happy about that, but I do understand that a lot of kids are back to school and don't have as much time or free time to watch their tablets and their phones and YouTube and all this stuff. And that's okay. It's okay. I will do this talk show for the people that actually can and do listen in. And for all of you out there who haven't discovered me yet. Yeah, that's a lot of you. A lot of people haven't discovered me yet. And I don't know how exactly how to be discovered. I would like to have these talk shows co-host. It would be so much easier just to have somebody to talk to instead of just having me ramble on. How fun is that? But I do cover a great number of subjects, of which today we will be getting around to invasion. I really, really like invasion, or I should rather say I want to like invasion. You see, Invasion Season 2 came out over the past week, and I started watching the first episode of Season 2, and I was completely lost. And then I went back to season 1, episode 1, and I'm like, no, I saw this. I do not understand the first episode of season 1 compared to the first episode of season 2. So I started rewatching yesterday a couple of episodes of season 1, thinking that maybe I have not watched season 1, and then, yeah, I have. I don't know if I saw well, I didn't have time to watch and binge watch the entire season yesterday, but I kind of watched episode 1, episode 2, and then I kind of fast forward 3 and 4. And from what I am gathering here, yes, I saw those. Like I said, I don't know if I saw the four last ones, so that maybe that's why I'm kind of out of phase with what is going on in the first episode of season 2. I also think that being an 8 episode season, it is how can I compare? I want to compare it to Sense8, where you have 8 main characters. Therefore, if you're going to cover 2 to 4 characters every show, then you're not going to see them until 2 or 3 shows later on. And that's kind of what is happening with Invasion. And I do have a few issues. Okay, so actually there's 10 episodes, not 8. Which does kind of make a difference, because you kind of do need a lot of episodes per season to have a huge cast that you can go to shows without seeing the characters that you saw in the first show. And already there, that's confusing. I like the shows. I am into pretty much every different aspect, because they have the single mom. Well, she is now single. That's one of the reasons why I'm going back, because I thought that she kind of had a crappy husband. So I'm following that. We are following the Asian woman. We are following the sheriff. We are following the military dude. And unfortunately, unlike Sense8, where Sense8 all the characters kind of come together and mesh, this show still wants to separate every perspective, which, if these characters are not going to interact with one another, at least not that I could determine by the end of the first season, which I may or may not have seen. Starting off in season 2, it's apparent to me that they are still on their separate paths. So although it gives out a good it's like watching a different show every week, and that, okay, it's about alien invaders. That's why it's called Invasion. Having a different main character and different storyline every week, not going back to that storyline for 2 shows, makes it that, yeah, there's definite issues and problems when you have to wait another year for another season. To the point where I couldn't even remember what I saw in the first season, and having all these separated stories makes it so confusing that I like the show. Like I said, I like the show. I like the effects. I like the storyline. I like the different characters and different plot lines. It's just not a format that's gonna work really well here. I think to do that kind of show, you'd need at least probably 16 episodes per season. Not 10, not 8, not 12. 16 to 20. If I had 22 episodes per season, then yeah, there's a lot of storytelling going on, and so I'm a little bit baffled. I'm enjoying the show. It's just very confusing, and from 2, 3 shows later, you're forgetting what happened in the previous show, and it's very hard to follow. And at that point, why come back to previous show casts or show members at all? Just have a weekly show about anything. Kind of like The Twilight Zone, kind of like, what was it, The Outer Limits, where every week was a different topic and go from there. It's it's kind of hard saying I really want to like this show. I do like this show. It's just that I am watching it very disconnected from the characters. I can't embark on the people's journeys because from 1 week to 3 weeks from now, I'm forgetting their journey. It's not as if they're coming out with all the episodes in one weekend where you can binge watch the season. It's a weekly thing, so 2 or 3 weeks later, we'll come back to the characters I saw last week. Not a good thing. I'm confused. I'm lost. I mean, Foundation, okay, has a lot of characters, had a lot of setups. Do not have so many episodes per season. And yet, you pretty much follow all the characters within a 2 week period. Here you have fewer characters and you go longer. So I don't know who's writing, who's directing, who's setting up this show. It does not seem like it's based on a book or anything like that. Not that I know of. Maybe some of you viewers out there do have the answers to this. And also the timing for this show coming out after Secret Invasion. So, okay, you're hoping to get some word of mouth out from the invasion. Google searches and Google Trends, and hoping to capitalize on the people that do watch Secret Invasion on Marvel and Disney. But being another show on another channel, not so good, I think. Especially that Secret Invasion and everything Disney and Marvel's been doing has been really, really not so good and not getting good reviews. So even if this show is good and the other show with a similar title is doing really bad, it might work against you. But yes, this show is in its second season, whereas Secret Invasion was on its first, and hopefully its last, because it wasn't good. I watched 2 episodes of Secret Invasion, and that was it for me, really. And that's pretty much my commentary on Invasion, which I really enjoyed. I do like it. I just wish I could follow the story. I'm just taking it as a per week different episode with some characters that I may or may not remember from previous episodes. So it's not great TV, but it's still good TV and a lot better than, like I said, other shows like what. I mean, do we want to really get into Ahsoka, Star Wars Ahsoka? That is my all-time favorite character. She's right up there with Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker was the always optimist growing up, so no matter what challenges I faced out through my young life, I had this positive outlook of things that things can and will eventually get better. You have to work at it. Far from being easy, but somehow, sometimes, it gets better. And this character, I watched the animated series and I really enjoyed it. Not overall, but I started watching for obviously Obi-Wan and Anakin, wanting to know more about their stories, and got caught up in this side story of Ahsoka. And over time, she became the real star of the show. Now there was an appearance in The Mandalorian, and I'm like, okay, not great, not bad, just okay. Hoping that maybe she gets her own spin off show, and hopefully we get back to the good stuff. Which, unfortunately, people just dropped the ball at Disney, and yes, Disney really dropped the ball here, and I'm gonna watch it. Although, see, she started making appearances in Rebels, but I really did not like Rebels. I didn't like the fact that they canceled the previous series of Clone Wars, the animated series. When Disney bought it out, they're like, okay, cancel this. We're going to start a new page. Nobody liked Rebels. So they figured, okay, let's bring a star from the previous one into this one, hoping to get some viewers back. And it really felt that way. And I did not like the new drawings. I did not like the new way that the character was portrayed. I didn't like the way that they inserted her into the storyline. And I never completely watched it because for me it was a clickbait. Clickbait, Ahsoka's back, but yeah, it's not really her story, although we're inserting her to make it interesting for everybody, but not so much. And anyway, it was all over the place for me. I could not watch the show regularly, so I was kind of lost in the storyline. But now that she has her own show, and the guy that created her is in charge of this, the unfortunate reality is even when he created her, he still had George Lucas guiding the storyboard and the storyline. So that is a definite change because now he Basically, he gets to do whatever he wants to do, and it's not necessarily good. And I don't know why he is doing this. Maybe he's just changing the storylines and making it such and such a way to please his employers, which he kind of did back in the day to please George Lucas. But Lucas had a vision for his brand, his franchise. Whereas Disney, it's just a product. We have to tick off the boxes to please everybody. It's made by committee. So, not a good thing at all. Really not. And I kind of agree. It's relentless mediocrity. And it's killing Star Wars. I mean, the franchise is now dead. And just to have this character on screen, not saying much, and not even having facial expressions like Ahsoka is known for. I get it. Ahsoka in the cartoons, everything is said through her eyes, or a lot of it is. I mean, 50% of her body language is through the eyes. And unfortunately, it does not translate well to humans. So therefore, you kind of do have to have some facial expressions. So just hiring somebody who doesn't sound like Ahsoka from the cartoons, because it's not the voice actor that's doing the part here. It's just an actress that kind of looks like Ahsoka. And unfortunately, she's not seemed we've seen Rosario having all kinds of expressions. She's really a good actress. She can communicate emotions, which she does not seem to be allowed to do here. Here it's just like, let's go blank and look some more and be completely emotionless and keep on looking. It's not only bland, it's aggravating seeing so much wasted potential. Well, that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments if you kind of agree or disagree with what I'm saying here. It's sad. It's really sad to watch this going on. I mean, if you need to know Rosario's expressions, just look at any of her interviews. Why are they removing every single one of her emotions for this? I don't know. Okay, sorry about that. And it turns out that I'm not the only one to think this of Ahsoka, because the ratings, apparently normally whatever Samba or whatever metric is used in the United States, covers a 4-day period for all the shows, and for Ahsoka they went to 6 days to have the exact same number of viewers as Andor, which wasn't good, which is even lower than the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, which was a dismal failure that people really did not like. So, to get the same amount of viewers, you had to go 50% more days. That's not a good sign. It's a sign that people are really disconnected. I mean, even if you want to compare it to Obi-Wan, that's a 50% drop. Which Ahsoka ends up being a better character than Obi-Wan, but they've been wrecking every single show that they have. They are just milking product. I mean, I don't know if it's worth spending millions into a production just to get like 1 or 2 extra viewers at the expense of losing 50,000. I don't know. That's not the kind of math that I grew up on. And yes, sometimes you do need to push equality and all these great things and be mindful of the environment, stop wasting stuff, because we used to waste a lot of things. Then recycling came along, and okay, we can not throw everything in the trash. A lot of stuff that we do consume can be reused. That's a really noble idea and something worth continuing on. I don't know if it's financially sound, but maybe we just need to change a little bit of our habits. But thinking that recycling will save the planet doesn't need saving. Humanity does. The planet will be here long, very long after we are gone. It may or may not look like it does now, and it may or may not look like it did 100 years ago, and it may or may not look like it was 1,000 years ago. It could even eventually look like what it looked like a couple of million years ago when we had ice ages. The Ice Age is not a myth, it actually existed. And before that, we do know that the planet, when it was created, was molten lava. So it cooled down to create continents. There was condensation, so it created oceans. It cooled down so much that it created an ice age. And now it's warming up again. The universe is a very huge sandbox, and all kinds of things can happen. We can starve each other off, and then that creates poverty, and that creates crime. So basically, we are at each other's throats, and it could all end tomorrow because of an asteroid. As many satellites and as many telescopes as we have, we cannot see everything coming. It's not like looking at your friend that has a new girlfriend and saying, okay, this relationship is not going to work. And, oh, surprise, the week after that, they broke up. Yeah, well, you guys were not a good match. Everybody around you could see it. And yet you still have to live through it and go through it to be able to learn from it. And some people, such as myself, never learned the lesson. Strangely enough, we are in a period here where men are being called toxic, but that's another completely other subject that can take hours and hours and hours of debate and discussion. I am also noticing that YouTube no longer shows a, how can I call it? A thumbnail of when I go live. It's just showing my background for my YouTube site, the banner. And I don't know why that is. It changed over the past couple of days now, and I go live, and it's just a background. It's a good thing that I put some letters and some words in it, because if I just went with a color, that's all you would have. Big blob of color on the screen, not showing my face, not showing that I'm actually talking here. Which is really weird. Okay, it's changing. Now it's showing a picture. It's like the first 15 minutes or 20 minutes of my show, it's just a random colored square. I'm still surprised how many people watch my live streams of gaming. Maybe I should do a talk show later in the day, in the evenings. Maybe I would get a lot more people joining in instead of just. I do want to encourage some debate, and I am here to talk. I do know that it's not always an easy thing, but I'm on the East Coast, so I should grab some Europeans in the evening and grab some Americans from the West Coast in the morning. And yet, I am not. Whereas on the West Coast, when by the time they get up, it's already late night for the Europeans, and already mid-afternoon, everybody in Europe is sleeping. So I'm in a great time zone, and unfortunately, I do not have more viewers than I have on my noon shows. So I don't know what to do there either. How can I grab some more attention? And I think that's how I'm going to end the show today. Is with you, the folks, tell me how I can grow my channel. I will welcome your input. I will respond to your comments. My channel is still very small that I can answer pretty much everybody. Everybody can have a one-on-one, and my goal is not to grow it to be a super channel. I'd be happy with between 5,000 and 10,000 viewers and subscribers. Not necessarily viewers, but subscribers, 5 to 10. And even if I had like maybe 100 viewers per show to talk to me and keep the conversation going, I would really be happy. I do not need 1,000, 2,000, 4,000 viewers, because then I would not be able to follow the conversation. My goal here is not to be too big, but I would like to be a bigger channel than it currently is. So if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments down below. Until the next show, please be safe out there, and I will see you tomorrow's. Bye-byes.